Hello, everyone. Stocks continued their sell-off basically on Monday. It was not really an ugly session, but it was a pretty negative session until late in the day when stocks found support and were able to rally into the close. Nice little kick save, but if we really look at the overall structure of today's bounce, calling for a bottom here would be way premature, as there just simply is not enough evidence that that is the case. Volume isn't huge enough either. Nice surge in volume today, but technically it's negative. The Nasdaq's volume surge heavier than Friday's session, but with the down session, it isn't that big of a deal. Now the Nasdaq 100 reversed higher and was slightly higher by 0.30%, but it still closed lower than where it opened. And overall, once again, the Nasdaq 100 stocks, being up out of a broad market of around 10,000, not that impressive overall. We would like to have seen more breadth. And by that, you go look at the Russell 2000, full of small and mid-cap stocks, and you see it led to the downside today, the exact opposite of what you want to see in a market. So Russell 2000 down 0.41%. It's just selling off every day as it cracks to new 52-week lows for the third session in a row. So not a good situation at all. And of course, the Dow Jones Transportation Average continues to sell off down 0.46% today, matching the Russell 2000. With the weakness, another above average volume sell off, and it's heavier than the day before. Now a new 52-week low. And once again, you want to see the Russell 2000 stocks and the Dow Jones Transportation stocks moving higher before the market if you really want to look for some kind of positive divergence in the tape. Not only was the Nasdaq 100 up, but so was the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And once again, 30 stocks out of a market at 10,000 being up today isn't necessarily, a great sign overall. But like I said, short term, we are oversold. A bounce should be expected, but to call this a bottom, way, way, way premature. If anything, if we continue to set up and rally off the setup that we have, I will be looking to short this rally in size if I can get any kind of bounce to any kind of reasonable resistance, preferably around the November December lows in the S&P 500. You got another death cross now in the S&P 500, so maybe the moving averages will come into play. But bottom line is, if this rally, moves on lower volume, charts remain sloppy, no great setups come about, I'll look to short this market. But remember, shorting this market's scary now because you got to remember we're in a no growth environment. There is absolutely no reason for markets to rise. There's only one way they can even make this market rise, and that's by using quantitative easing. And that's the problem. We could be shorting this market and things could be working out, and then a new round of quantitative easing can come in at any time. I would like to think that they're out of bullets, but they barely hike interest rates, and this is how the market reacts, so don't expect them to really hike it that much more if this continues to be the pattern into 2016. This is once again the worst start ever in stock market U.S. history. This is worse than the late 1890s. This is worse than the 1907 bear market. This is worse than the 1929 bear market start of any year. So keep that in mind. That's what we're looking at right now. OA is a 50% sell signal, closing below the 20-day moving average, heavy volume. Normally it'd be a 100% sell signal, but it's holding above this support level right here and the 50-day moving average. So on an end-of-day basis, it's still a good to hold. I'm completely out of it, so not a big deal. And then speculative name GSV, closing below 20-day moving average and heavy volume, locking in some gains there. I never even got a position off as I was fully invested when that signal came, so nothing happening. And how much is the gain anyway? 5%, but that's actually been pretty good in this market. So 5% in that one. And then loan finally failed, already completely out of it, so I don't have to worry about it. But this closed below the 200-day moving average, officially ends the adventure into loan. And what is that loss? 2%. So once again, a whole lot of doing nothing. And then STRL confirmation, closed below the recent support levels and closing below the 50-day moving average. Volume isn't above average, but it's heavier than the session before. Overall, the pattern looks like it's completely rolled over, so might as well just go ahead and leave here with gains. And what are we locking in? A whole whopping 4%. Way to go, stock market. So STRL is a full sell. Now, despite the negative outlook in the market and the fact that, look at, here's two of the better looking stocks recently. BXLT, we were impressed how it's holding up. Look at that volume sell-off today. Absolutely ugly. And then NAII was probably the best looking stock, but it's been trending up higher and higher and higher with no pullback. But here's how you know you're in a pretty terrible market environment and why then stocks are dangerous. This stupid thing was down 25% today. fine uptrend, not a single crack, not a single problem whatsoever in this stock, and then all of a sudden, boom, down 25%, losing a quarter of its value in one session. It's kind of a bit absurd if you ask me, and it continues to go, points me towards the fact that machines, algorithms, high frequency trading is basically in charge here. There's not a whole lot of liquidity out here, and this is what happens when you run into an illiquid market. And speaking of that, oh my God, my short on ears that I screwed up. I missed my limit around 7. What was it? I can't even remember anymore. I can't even remember where it was at. Like 775. It sounds, no, that can't be right. Yeah, it would have been in this day. 775, missed it. Took another short at 740. Had to cut my loss at 747, and now the damn thing is down to 515. Not a big deal, but just goes to show you how difficult operating this market is. 27% gain in 2 days I missed out on. Whoopsie daisy. But, you know, that's what's happening. And then VUSI, once again, recommended after this big update that it was probably going to be a great short. Didn't take it short on my end because I have no balls anymore, and that stock is now down 40% in 7 sessions. Once again, whoops. So, whatever. But USAT is working. USAT was down 3% today. Netflix looks pretty bad. Another heavy volume intraday reversal today. So those two shorts look solid. But ears, grah. Oh well, what are you going to do? And then LPTH is the other one, but it was up 11% today. But remember, if I would have gotten short this, the final sell stop would have been buy stop would have been 348. It's holding that level now at 313, so all is well there. Now, despite all this ugliness, we do have 2 long positions. One is extremely speculative, so I'll start with that first. ENZ has held up. Enzo Biochemical has held up amazingly this past month, despite this market turmoil. It has held its 50-day moving average. It has come under 0 distribution and is now producing a second pocket pivot point signal since 2016 started, starting to break out to new highs on heavy volume with a small surge in BOP. I figure, what the hell, if we're wrong, we don't lose much. I'm only going to put 0.5% of my account capital in it. It's only a couple $1,000s, which is actually a lot of shares in this name. 457 is the first sell stop. 431 will then be the final sell stop, so we won't be losing too much if we're wrong, but I figure it's worth it since it's going to be such a small position and this is such a nice chart. Let's see if it can hold up in this market. And then the only real nice long signal is CHUY. CHUY is a CanSlim quality stock, so it was found in my CanSlim scan. If it would not have been found in there, I would have had to have gone through my stock that just looks for any stocks up on above average volume with green BOP. If I would have gone through that scan, I would have also found it. But Chewy did not confirm it on my price volume BOP surge scan and missed it by just a tad. So there's no confirmation with this name. So it's just a CanSlim quality name in my CanSlim quality scan that I flagged and thought was pretty enough. And it's held up well. I already made note of it, like it's held up well here. I was already impressed with on the 4th, and on the 5th it continued to break out. I was super impressed. And then on the 7th with the heavy volume, I was like, all right, maybe it'll be able to handle. And it looks like it is building a handle, but I would like to get it early before a breakout, hopefully, and minimize my risk if I am wrong anyway. So first sell stop, you can use 33.81. The final one, 32.79. But Chewy is a very strong looking pattern in a very weak market along with ENZ. I don't mind risking a little bit of money and being wrong, because if these both work out and I don't take the positions, I'm going to hate myself much more than if I just take a small loss. Once again, I don't want to get my powder completely dry. If I take a signal, I want to take a signal just to keep my feet wet. I know when it's time to put 5, 10, 20% of my account in one position. For now, 0.5 and 1.